Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and I want to talk about the label weird, which you may have heard going around in connection with child predators, child molesters, child rapists, sexual offenders, sexual abusers, and people who behave generally opportunistically or in a predatory way towards young people. There's actually a phenomenon, there's a behavior for sure that this label describes, but it's kind of a catch-all and it misses the point. There's a better way to describe it, and I want to go into that a little bit in this video. The opportunity specifically is that, like I said, it's meant to describe selfish, predatory, abusive behavior that is, lacking the kinds of healthy traits that normal love would have. I'm a firm believer that there's no wrong way to love, if in fact that's what it is, because love is patient, love waits as long as necessary, and love wants the other person to be happy and healthy primarily. That's part of the definition of it. So if it's something else, if it's something toxic or painful or destructive or predatory, that's not love, okay? Let's be clear about that. You're talking about something else at that point, some kind of sexual gratification on the part of the perpetrator, but that's not love. I want to be clear. So the label weird is used for a very specific reason. It has become popularized and normalized because most people, unfortunately, display this tendency of predatory, selfish love, predatory, selfish attraction to other people, sexual pursuit that is in the vein of being, gratifying primarily for the person who is seeking. And it's the seeking, really, right? It's seeking and being predatory are kind of the same thing if you think about it. But it is, again, normalized. It's common that people will, cross the road to grab that person, or if you got to, be the first to the post, so to speak. I've made videos about this where I don't believe the proper, relationship, if you're looking for a relationship, is about, getting into her pants real fast. That shouldn't be the goal. There's a bigger picture at work. There's shared experiences at the heart of it, not sex. And this is the point that people are trying to avoid by using the label weird. So hear me out. When they say weird, it's vague, it's ambiguous, it's become a catch-all, like I said, but it's so that people don't have to confront the reality that they themselves are acting that same way towards adults. I'm going to say that twice. You use an ambiguous label if you're using the word weird because you are weird. You are weird towards adults. You act selfishly, most of you. I'm not wrong about this. Very few people seem to have the right idea about how to be truly loving towards someone, and that's not about self-gratification at all. It's about wanting somebody to grow, to be healthy and happy, not just today, but every day moving forward for as long as it takes, right? So when you say weird, it means you're acting like a normal adult, typically, but towards a young person, right? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. My request in this video is describe it accurately. Describe it accurately. You're using the word weird to describe your own behavior in the context of being around young people. Most of you. Yeah, I'm not wrong about this. So I'm tired of people advocating for casual sex. I'm tired of hearing people say that there's nothing wrong with orgies or contraception or bondage and domination, sadomasochism, BDSM. There's nothing wrong with getting twisted and turning the world into a den of iniquity. While we sequester the children away, we wall them up in these facilities until they turn 18, at which point they are unceremoniously dumped into the adult life. Good luck, have fun. Sorry about the vampires. But, all the while, if you happen to, shake hands with a child, you're weird unless you're a professional. Okay, I got a problem with this whole idea. First of all, like I said, I want to go over just a couple more points. Love is patient. If you love somebody, you know how to act around them. If it's actually love, you know how to act around babies, you know how to act around very young children, you know how to act around teens, high school kids, college kids, and adults, and you're not awkward or uncomfortable around those people. You're not at a loss for how to behave yourself because it's not a problem in general, right? If you're loving people properly to begin with, it never becomes a problem around anybody, including and especially young kids. So in conclusion, I don't want to drone on and on, but when you say weird, if you're on a witch hunt, if you're part of that party who's, you know, the mob that's going around right now demanding Epstein files like it means something, and you know, calling people weird, and you know, blasting people online because of some, you know, rumor or conjecture about them, or maybe they just pissed off the wrong person and now they're a pedophile all of a sudden. If you're one of these people, I would suggest you take a look at your normal sexual behavior and consider how it differs exactly from that label you're throwing around. 9 times out of 10, I'm quite sure you're a parasite. You're a vampire. Most people are, unfortunately, and here's your problem. The problem is we indulge in parasitic sexual behavior in general, which makes things weird around kids. Unless you're patient and doing it right. Unless you're willing to wait until she turns 18 or older. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be loving people. Okay? Love isn't necessarily sexual. At which point it's mutual and she's mature and ready, then it might flourish into something better, something bigger. But that's not weird. That's just natural. That's just normal. What's weird is being a vampire. Those are the weirdos, and you don't need a kid to be a vampire or a weirdo. I'm just saying, say it how it is. Say it how it is. Be fair, be honest, and quit being vague. Let's be specific. And why don't you look at yourself for a change? Be right. Reach out with questions down below. Thank you.